No limit to what we do.
Mells, celebrity vocal coach right here, and I am a part of Give It Life.
And ratchet,
and real extra ratchet, raunchy.
That'll be everywhere, like.
What we got coming up? Other shops is upstairs, but we down here by also, man. This guy, he can walk off the set. We leave that up to Vito.
Phoenix, soul, clarity and connection through conversation. Phoenix, soul, clarity and connection through conversation.
Hello, everybody. Hello, everyone. Welcome. So I am live in Oregon. As a matter of fact, Eugene, Oregon, with my taking care of some personal responsibilities. I'm here. I'm getting my son situated for school. It's part of life, college parents' life is all about. But I would be remiss if I did not continue my obligations to come to you and do a special show remote for Phoenix Soul Podcast. We're having an incredible time here. And with one of the processes that you have to go through when, as a parent that drops their kids off, it's an emotional process, as some people can recall that. Hey, Lisa, what's up? What's up, Lisa? And the process itself has been different because as a parent whose child is a transfer student, I kind of been through this already. But because he's moving to the other side of the country, I have to say that again, the other side of the country, it's a change. And so the other part is a change is the level of competition and the level of experience that he's now playing in, being at Oregon University of Oregon. And with us, I just felt like it was something that I could talk about, of course, as myself, but I wanted to share this experience, and I'll probably be bringing on more parents throughout the time of the show for parents to talk about their experiences. But with us tonight, I have an incredible guest who has been experiencing this process with her son at the University of Oregon. And I had an opportunity to meet her just via social media. And the moment I reached out to her, she was incredible. She opened her arms out to me. She was able to just share some of the do's and don'ts. And really, as a parent, just what to eat, what not to eat, where to go, who to get cool with, who not to get cool. And I really appreciate that. So with that being said, I want to introduce to you all, family and friends, Miss Renet Mells. Renet.
Hello, everybody.
Hi, Renet. So one of the things that you shared with me, and part of your title is you're a momager. And so we're going to talk a little bit about what a momager means, and being that it's not a self-appointed title. It's a title that, well, sometimes some parents do go crazy. We've seen a lot of parents start living their lives vicariously through their children. But sometimes you just really need parents that are there specifically for their child, making sure their child makes the right decisions. So we want to talk a little bit about what a momager means. But I want to talk a little bit about you. I'm very, very impressed with your level and your experience. And firstly, maybe you can open up a little bit about, just saying hi to our audience and just about who you are.
All right. My pleasure. Like I said, my name is Renet Mells. I am the mother of 3 boys, one of which is now a wonderful angel, but my oldest played D1 ball as well. Sir Mells is my youngest, who is playing for the University of Oregon. So this isn't something that's new to me. I've been around sports my entire life. I played football in middle school and high school, a little bit on the pro side here in Vegas. Just always been interested in sports. I played basketball. I ran track. I grew up in Florida, born in New York, transplanted here in Vegas. My son is in Oregon, so it's a lot. But just sports has always been something I was interested in. I've been in the medical field for 32 years, so I've done the training aspect of it, gotten close to different players, done massage therapy. So that was another aspect of it that kept me close to sports. But it was just something I was always passionate about. And now being, the mother of athletes, it's different, especially in this day and age with the NIL. And I'm sure we'll touch on that. It is totally different from when my oldest son went to school to now that I have my youngest son at probably one of the most recognizable colleges in the country.
So talk to us a little bit about you playing football. You played football in middle school and in high school? Like
middle school, high school,
and girl team, or tell us about that.
So no, there were no girls playing, and we just wanted to play. And there was 2 of us at the middle school level, and we were like, we're going to play. And so in high school, did the same thing. And then when these girls wanted to play football, they were like, okay, we don't want them playing with the boys, so we're going to make them a powder puff team. So we still got to play. And then here in Las Vegas, there is the FFL, which is a female football league, which later transitioned after 5 years to the lingerie league. So my son plays D tackle, and I played D tackle for years. So that was.
So you kind of know what you kind of know what you're talking about when you
just a little bit
how to play. Does he listen to you at all when you're telling him hit it this way and do it that way? Does he talk about plays?
He's a teenager, so they know everything. But I'm not one of those pushover moms that says, "Oh yeah, my son plays football. What position?"
Right.
I don't know. I know his uniforms are really cute. Yeah, no, I am definitely not that mom.
No, I'm not that mom either. I'm like, if the bone is not out, just go back on the field. That's me. I'm really that. But I get it. So, but tell me a little bit about that experience, though, overcoming that. I'm sure that was somewhat overcoming some sort of obstacle playing football in a time where it was just all a male-dominated time.
Absolutely, especially middle school. So I was running track, and one of the football coaches at the middle school I went to in Florida was like, "Oh my gosh, she's kind of fast. Who is that?" And it just was funny. And he's like, "Oh, maybe you should come out for football." I was like, "Okay, maybe I will," as a joke. And then it was like, I know football. I like football. And he was like, "Well, what do you want to do?" I said, "Well, I want to hit. I want to play defense." He goes, "You don't know what?" I said, "I want to play D end or D tackle." And yes, I do. So got out there, wanted to play defense, and they wouldn't let me play because I was faster than the other boys. So they turned me into a receiver or a tight end. And I was like, this isn't what I want to do. I want to hit. That's my thing. So all through middle school, played receiver, got in high school, did the same thing. In high school, when I got from the regular football to powder puff, I played quarterback, I played wide receiver, I played defense. I got to do everything. So it was a little exciting. But yeah, just being a girl out there with all these boys, and they're looking at you like, why are you out here? And then it's, oh, okay. So you have to gain the respect. It's just that any other thing that you do. So.
Well, I think that's critical. And because you've been involved with sports and everything, did that give you that push to have your children involved in it?
Not really. It seems, I always let them decide on their own. Their fathers were athletes. So it's kind of in the genes. I talk to my older son now, who actually works at his alma mater, which is at Illinois State. And he's like, "Oh, I wish I would have played basketball," or, "Oh, football's so hard on your body." And he will be 34. And him talking to my 18-year-old or now 19-year-old, it's so funny to watch that interaction because he's been there, done that. And he's working in a capacity where he can see these college athletes from the time they start college into the end, and he sees all of that. And I'm so grateful for his input and his influence on his younger brother. But of course, at 19, your child looks at you like, you don't know anything. You don't know nothing. They know everything. So there's that.
So tell us a little bit about, speaking of your child knowing everything, and we're kind of just there. Do you find how's the treatment as a mom in this industry when you're dealing and representing, just advocating for your child when you're talking to coaches? You went through a recruiting process, I'm sure, before you went
Absolutely.
to college. How was that like as a mom?
So of course, it's as a single mom, the coaches don't know how to approach you, and it's sports. So they try to gauge their level of communication or how they want to converse with you on your knowledge of what does your son do? What position does your son play? How much football knowledge do you have? And I kind of sit back and just let them start talking first before I say anything, because you want to see how are you going to approach me? Mm-hmm. You're talking, my son was recruited twice by Oregon, once with the previous coaching staff and again with the current coaching staff. Mm-hmm. And there was just something about, the two are totally different. The processes were different. This staff is a lot more grounded, a lot more family oriented. The atmosphere is wonderful. And when you're listening to the coaches and they're talking to you on your level of understanding. I've heard them speak to other parents. I've heard them speak to mothers and fathers, and they speak to you on your level of understanding. It's not, we're going to run a 3-4 front and your child may or may not get in depending on, what package we're running. If we run a heavy package left, he may not get in because he's not experienced. And you have a parent like, heavy what? Like, I'm not familiar with this lingo, but they speak to you so you understand. And it's so important to make that connection with the coaches, because if you don't have a connection with the coaches, your child is not going to have that connection with the staff. He's not going to have that connection with his teammates. So it's very important to have just that, of course, with the initial recruiter, the coach, his teammates, and everything. And as a parent, you want to make sure that your child feels comfortable where he's going.
So you asked me when we first spoke, have you ever had experience dealing with this level of education, this type of school? And I said to you, no, we come from, a smaller school. And what do you see is the difference, or what type of experience do you think a parent should expect being a parent of a scholar athlete from a Power 5 school?
Oh my goodness. It's nonstop. It's a business. And the one thing that you have to understand as a parent, sometimes you have to separate the fact, okay, my child is playing for a D1 school. It's a very popular school. Like, everybody knows the Ducks, and it's a business, and it is a university that has a football program. So you're going to have to make sure that your child is mentally stable. He's mentally okay. My number one thing, I communicate with my son several times a day. And I make sure before he goes to bed, I get that phone call. How was your day? How are you feeling? How does your body feel? How do you feel mentally? What were classes like? Today's the first day of classes. I've been going back and forth with him. He's moved into his apartment. So he's like, hey, my Amazon just came. Oh, my bed just came. Oh, my bed frame just came. So now he's excited. I get that first day of school excitement. You got your own apartment. But how are you doing mentally? Like, this is a lot. They're in the spotlight. They're walking around Eugene on campus. People recognize them. It's nonstop from the time they get up to the time they go to bed. And you want to make sure your child is comfortable. You want to make sure that you're able to embrace the whole process. Because coming from a smaller school, you're not used to TV cameras being out in your quad, and as they go to classes or they're heading to the practice facility, the cameras are there and people are interviewing them or they're stopping them after practice. It takes a lot of getting used to, but from what I've seen, a lot of these young men handle it so well. And the University of Oregon is the type of university that will coach these young men on how to speak in public, how to address, in interviews, how to conduct yourself. So I am very grateful for that. But once again, they have their pulse on these young men to make sure that they're okay.
Right. The level, I think you spoke about this experience, this new experience for a child. I would say even for a freshman coming into school. How can you see that can impact their mental health?
It depends on the young man. It's hard to say. You can't kind of lump them all together,
Mhm.
but especially if you just got out of high school and you're leaving high school, you were the man. You were the man. Well, you're coming to a team that have a bunch of demands.
Mhm.
I told my son straight up, stars don't matter. Stars don't matter. Oh, this is a 5-star this and a 4-star that and a 3-star that. It doesn't matter. Look how many no stars and 1-stars are in the NFL. Look how many of them are high profile players. So coming from high school, it's kind of like you get starstruck, and I don't, no pun intended, but you're like, oh my gosh, I'm standing on the campus of University of Oregon. you know Look at all these players that came from him. Kayvon Thibodeau was number 5 in the draft last year, and he's playing with the New York Giants and one of the best rookies out there. Like, look, oh my gosh, like this is where I am. You have to get past that first, that whole starstruck, and it's the University of Oregon, and you're going to have to get down to business and learn your role and operate in your role.
So as a mom, and then I guess we're going to transition and talking about a momager. How were you able to help your son get through that process?
Well, he has a great village. His village is huge. My oldest son, Keenan, is phenomenal talking to his younger brother and just putting it out there like, look, this is it. You're a freshman. You're probably not going to play this year. You might get redshirted. Are you prepared for that mentally? You have to, as a mother, you want to, he's coming from high school and he was the man. He's balling. He's number 1 D tackle in Nevada. He's doing this. And now he's at Oregon and he plays one game his freshman year. But I was so proud of him because his mentality, the things he soaked up, the things he learned, his football maturity, I could see that. And as a mother, I have to be supportive. I have to be like, are you okay? You may not play. You may not do this. I came to every home game. My son played one home game, but he knew my mother is there. She's going to support me regardless. She is going to be there screaming, yelling, jumping up and down. It doesn't matter. And as long as you support them through everything, because this freshman, sophomore year, that's the hardest, especially when you're coming from a team where you were the man, you were the star player, you were 5 stars out of your state or whatever. They have to acclimate to, I'm surrounded by talent. Now, where do I fit in, and how am I going to make myself stand out in all of these guys who are talented? So you just, as a parent, you have to be supportive.
So tell us about the term momager, Renee. What is that?
Well, momager. So that's a term we came up with actually in youth football, because we were football moms. You
Right.
were the football moms, the team moms. You made sure this was done, that was done. It was my sister and I I think we had 7 teams, from kids from 5 years old to 14 years old. You were in charge of the water. You were in charge of the coolers. You had to make sure the uniforms got ordered. You had to make sure the physicals were done. So you did the administrative part. I did first aid and everything for our teams and everything. So you're a football manager. You're talking to parents who are pissed off because their kids not getting playing time. And it's just that role. You're a mom, because every kid on that team is your kid. Like
Absolutely.
every single kid. It doesn't matter. That's your kid.
That's
The
right.
teams that you play, and anybody who knows that when we played here in Las Vegas, when the Gators played, if a kid got hurt, oh, where's Sir's mom? Go get Sir's mom. It doesn't matter which team. You treat them as your kids, and you're a momager because you're a mom and you're managing all these different components and aspects of a football camp.
So tell me how that's transitioned for you here as a mother ducker.
Yes, yeah, I'm in good company. So the mother duckers, I like that. So honestly,
Right.
it's just, you just have to be supportive, and it's listening to the coaches. It's getting to know the other players. Like in the past few weeks with the transfer portal opening, I've seen the transition of some awesomely talented players that are playing elsewhere now, that I've made friends with their mothers. I made friends with their fathers, their grandmothers, their aunts, and they're not there anymore. So, once a duck, always a duck. And I love that phrase. I'm still going to support them wherever they go, but I have to make sure that my child, as well as the rest of his teammates, are good. And I think we spoke on it. When I'm at his house and I'm cooking, I cook for everyone. Whoever comes over is who eats. It's not, I'm cooking for my child. You know, I'm just cooking for who's in his room or in his hallway. I treat the other kids like I want someone to treat my child. Some parents don't have that luxury of going to every home game. They may only go to one game a season, but guess what? I make sure I get extra pictures. I try to get pictures of them in their uniforms and send, posting it on Facebook, putting in our groups so they can still have that feeling. You can feel like you're there. It's that momager thing. It doesn't stop just because your kid's out of high school, your kid's out of youth football. Kind of transcend. You don't have to do as much because it's college. They do everything. You just have to make sure you develop those relationships with the parents, develop those relationships with the players, and just be there for new parents coming in, transport portal kids, looking at certain players and saying, are you okay? I know you haven't been home in 4 months. What do you need? What's your favorite food? Let me cook this for you. Just being there so that they know, hey, somebody cares about me as a person, not just a football player.
Right. The NIL is something that has come up recently, I guess over the last 2 years, given the fact that players are now able to benefit and profit off their names, image, and likeness. How have you found that process? Is it equitable? Is it nice? Is it fun? Is it
fun? Is not the word.
Are you making money from this? I saw that you have deals. So what does that mean? Having deals?
So your player is allowed to legally acquire finances. And like I said, I am so thankful and grateful to the University of Oregon staff because they have in place, there is a whole group department dedicated to NIL and educating the players and getting NIL deals for them, et cetera, so that it doesn't take away from them concentrating on football. There are people going to be coming out of the woodwork. Hey, I got this. I want your kid to do this. And you have to, and as a mother, like I said, my kid is a teenager. So he's going to say yes to everything. No, don't sign a contract. I need to get it to the people so that it can be reviewed. Our lawyer has to look over it. What are they asking of you? What is this going to require of you? So you want to make sure that your child is not out there. Oh, I just signed a $10,000 contract for what? Oh, it's for socks and I have to just post it on my Instagram or what. You just have to make sure that they are running it by, the University of Oregon, of course, to make sure everything is on the up and up. And just to make sure they're not being taken advantage of. These are teenagers. My son has only played in one game. He has one stat. But yet these people, he goes to Oregon. So if we reach out to him, we can get this player and we can get this player. You don't know people's mentality when they're approaching your child for these NIL deals. So it's always best to make sure you don't sign any contracts, talk to the University of Oregon, make sure it's on the up and up, and make sure it's going to benefit your child.
Sure. So the agendas vary, is what I'm hearing, according to each deal. Are there any specific deals that you're happy to share that you're proud of your son? Mm-hmm. Maybe there's something that the listening audience can support your son with. You have a certain deal.
Oh my goodness. So if you go on Sir's Instagram page is where we have everything. We're working on his link tree. So everything will be in one spot. So it's Sir, SIR Mells, MELLS 40, which is his football number. He has a deal with Residency, which is a hat company. And you've probably seen some of the hats and not even known that you have saw these hats courtside of NBA games. NFL players are wearing them. Golfers are wearing them. And it's so weird because when people see them now, they're like, oh my gosh, that's a Residency hat, or it's a Residency trucker hat. Or that's the Eugene, and that's the hat that they have. You can go on, click on the link. You can order things there. He has a candy deal with Worms, WORMZ, which anybody who knows Sir from high school knows he loves snacks and gummy bears and gummy worms and everything. So there's a link on his bio for the worms. He also has, he has a deal with GOAT, GOAT, the shoe company. I'm missing some, the death water. I can't even think of the name of the water.
We're talking water. About. Right.
Yes.
Referring to.
So if you go on his Instagram, you'll see all this information. And once again, we're trying to get everything linked to one link. So when you click on it, you see everything. And that's something as a parent, he doesn't have time to manage all of this and everything. So you want to make sure that the content that they're putting up, because social media can make or break an athlete. Athletes have lost scholarships over what they post on social media. So we're making sure that they're very, very careful and that he's going in the right direction. And there's a perfect example. There's a player super close to my son that went to high school together who just entered the transfer portal and is going to another school. He took a picture with his girlfriend and posted it, oh, so happy that we made our 1-year anniversary, whatever. And I'm looking at the jacket and it has like marijuana leaves on it. And I looked at I sent it to my son. I'm like, not the best, choice for an athlete to be posting on social media, because they're going to say, oh, well, he had on a marijuana. You may not smoke, you may not, but look at what you're portraying. Look at what you're putting out there. So you have to be careful, and you have to, I'm on him all the time about what he posts. If it's not football related, family related, or something with your NIL, be careful, especially music, certain music that the background to your reels or on your Snapchat. You have to be careful and cautious, because there are 7-year-olds, 8-year-olds that play youth football that are looking at these reels. So you have to be careful. And of course, they're 18, 19, 20-year-old young men. And they're like, well, this is the music I listen to. Well, I might have a mom that doesn't want her 8-year-old listening to the baby, so you have to kind of be mindful of that. And as a parent, it's kind of hard because, they're stretching their legs and spreading their wings. So you kind of have to just clamp down on the momager part a little bit. So make sure they don't get out of hand.
Man, I understand that for the parents that are probably parents that are freshmen. What would you say? How do you cut the cord?
I mean, do you ever really cut the cord? Because you're gonna get those text messages. Hey, mom, I need $40. I need $20. What is this? What's my social security number? So I think in the
beginning there's a transition, right? They first try to cut the cord with you, right, and then.
Mm-hmm. And then they tie it back together. They get some duct tape and then they put it back. They were like, "Ooh, this was too soon. What was I thinking? Oh no." So from my experience, from my son, I can only speak from my son.
Of course.
He lived in freshman housing, and it was like, I want an apartment. I'm like, okay, they're raising the rent and we're gonna pay this, and it's 4 people in there, and I don't want to live with 4 people. Okay, so you want to jump into adulthood? Okay. I can say no, but he's gonna sneak, go do it or whatever. So okay, all right, let's do this. So this is what you're gonna have to do. We sat down and we wrote, I gotta get that and I gotta do that. Oh yeah, we're adulting. This is what we're doing. And just remember, you still have classes and you have football practice. So who's gonna be there to get these things when they arrive at your house? Who's gonna be there to get these packages? Who's gonna help you put this together? What are you gonna do? And the eyes just get big, but oh no, I'll help you. I'll assist you, but you're going to do the majority of the work. So it kind of transitions from you being the parent 100% hands-on to you being the parent and you're only 30% hands-on.
Guardian. You're right. That's so funny. And I was talking to a parent the other day, and she was very emotional. You would imagine that a child going to school is a lot, but for folks that live in another part of the country to come all the way to another part of the country is a lot for a parent. And plus, you don't realize how much the child's presence is in your life every day until they leave. And so the conversations that I had with a few parents about that transition was incredible. It was funny. Because your child, sometimes they want to just hurry up and leave, but then you have to recognize it's not personal,
Right. Of course not. And that's, I think as a parent, especially a mother, it's something about boys. It's just something about boys. I don't have girls, so I can't speak on that. But I'm fortunate enough that my son goes to school close enough to home that I can get to him if I need to. Mm-hmm. If something happens at the University of Oregon and they say Sir Mells is injured, whatever, I can get in my car and drive 14 straight hours. I can hop on a plane and be there in an hour and 32 minutes. Mm-hmm. I can catch a bus. It's going to take me a half a day, but I can get there. I'm comfortable because I know he's far enough away that he can do his own thing, but he's close enough that I can get to him. And it was, oh, I'm so ready to go to school. They're excited. They're a freshman. And I think we weren't apart, but for 1 month, his entire freshman year. So for 4 weeks, I didn't see him physically. During football season, I was up there every weekend. I was up at every game. And then when he wasn't on the travel team, there was no sense of me going. So I didn't see him. And it was different because it's like, oh my gosh. He's like, Mom, I'm ready to come home. And my older son told him, every freshman goes through it. You might want to quit football. You're going to want, and he did the whole thing. And like I said, I'm so grateful for my older son, for Keenan just stepping in and saying, look, I don't want you to enter the transfer portal, because I feel like that's what you're going to do if you don't get your way, if you don't play, whatever. And for his big brother to be telling him that, I'm grateful for that. And I'm so grateful for the maturity that Sir has gained being at the University of Oregon. No, he didn't play, but he stayed so positive. And he's probably one of the number one recruiters, player recruiters, and, talking to the players, talking to their parents or whatever, because he has that positive attitude. And to not be on the field and to maintain that attitude is huge. That's a huge accomplishment.
A big shout out to Sir and his role with the team. It just shows you that every team member may not be physically playing, but it takes a lot for everybody to be on the team.
Absolutely.
How is that embracing him and being kind of like an ambassador for the Ducks been for him?
It's been great. I love getting on Twitter and people that live in Eugene or close to Eugene. Oh, I drove past the campus and I saw Sir and he gave me the biggest smile and he waved and he walked over and spoke to us. That's what you want to hear as a parent. You don't want to hear, your son was cocky or he had an attitude or I saw him out in public, he didn't even speak. And that's one thing that we've instilled in him. You've been afforded so many opportunities. There are people that will never be in your place. There are people that you played youth football with that's all they have is youth football. There are people that you play high school football with, and that's all they have is high school football. There are going to be people that you play college ball with, and that's all they have. You have to be nice to everyone, from the lawn guy to the janitor to the cook to the lady that changes the sheets to the lady that brings your water. Treat people nice. It doesn't cost you anything to be kind, and people remember that. And I think that's where, with his personality, and he's a big old teddy bear at 6'5", 290 whatever pounds he is now. Wow. And he can relate. It is what it is, and nobody's going to talk to a recruit or relate to a recruit like a person that was recruited. So I think he's embraced that role. I'm so happy to hear that. And it's so funny because he says, Mom, when I graduate, if I don't go to the NFL, I'm going to have a studio and I'm going to come back here. I'm going to be a recruiter. I'm going to take Don Johnson's job. I'm like, okay. All right, okay. Like, all right, get your plan, boy. Get your plan.
Well, you definitely, right. I mean, that's big shout out to, again, even to Dan Lanning, the Oregon Ducks. It's just important for kids to see young men to be able to see their other talents and their skills, and to be able to get that actualized. Congratulations to Sir, and congratulations to you for allowing him to see himself in that way. Is there anything else that you would share about this overall process? I mean, you went to the bowl game.
Oh my gosh!
Oregon played the University of North Carolina Tar Heels at a Holiday Bowl the end of 2022 in San Diego. And I recall on your social media, you had quite a few pictures. What was that experience like?
Oh my gosh. First bowl game, with your son actually playing, it was phenomenal. Of course, I went up a little earlier because it was, they left on Christmas Eve, which is, we're used to being around our kids on holidays and everything. So for me, it was important to at least be there on Christmas. I drove up on Christmas, but the amount of Duck fans, I was like, oh my gosh, I'm on the highway from Las Vegas to San Diego and I'm getting, honks and people are waving. I'm like, what the heck is it? It's so, because like I'm in Vegas and there are different fans from different places and everywhere, but when at the hotel walking in and you see all these Duck fans and all these people that are loving on your kid and loving on all the other kids, and with the airlines having issues, a lot of parents couldn't make it. So I'm like, okay, let me whip out the phone, let me take all the pictures. And I think I have the fewest pictures of my kid and pictures of everybody else's kid, because you want the parents to experience that. You want them to see, hey, my kid is happy. And I think the one player that stands out the most to me is Cole Young. I took a picture of Cole Young as he walked in after the game to the hotel, because I was staying at the same hotel. He's standing there with the meal that they give the players after the game. He's holding his bag. He has on his jersey still. He still got the face paint on, and he has this big, huge smile on his face. And we're like, Bear, what are you doing? He's like, I'm just soaking it all in. I'm taking it all. That makes you feel like, oh my gosh, like they're enjoying this. Now, is he one of the, top rated players or anything? No, but he's embracing his journey. And I think that interaction was the absolute best, just to see, it was so organic that he was enjoying. And then as they started filing in, like some of the players walked from Petco. They didn't wait for the bus. They walked to the hotel because we were right down the street. Mm-hmm. People taking pictures and mobbing them and everything. They were loving it. And it is so good to see these young men enjoying the moment. I mean, that game almost stopped my heart probably 4 or 5 times. But
I tell you, watching these football games definitely plays a role. I don't understand how our hearts happen. I love it's a bittersweet moment for me all the time. And then the way that the games go, was there something that you share about that game that gave your heart palpitations on steroids? Like what happened?
I mean, other than that, the field, the extra point kick, and it hits the uprights, and we're sitting right behind it, and you hear this boom. I'm like, oh, what are we doing? And then I'm looking because
it went in. Yeah, it went in.
And then I look, I was like, oh,
did you watch it?
The longest 16 seconds of my life. Longest 16 seconds. And then on the flip side of that, we played Oregon State at Oregon, and we were up in the third quarter by 21 points. How did we lose by 4? I was so upset. And that's a different feeling because you're so used to winning. We lost to both of our rivals this season. Like, this would have been the opportunity to take the pack, but for whatever reason we didn't. And it's not like we got blown out. We lost by a few points. Yeah, and I'm like, I don't like this. I don't like the other side of it. Like, this is not what we do.
Everybody likes winning. Right.
Yeah.
So how do you forecast this year coming in? Have you made that
it's too early to tell. I mean, yesterday with the players being there, we had over 30 young men from the transfer portal and being on campus and everything. So this is a whole new personnel. We have to see, how are they going to vibe? How are they going to click? Where are they going to be on the depth chart? I can't say, oh yeah, we're going to absolutely do. I don't know. But I'm going
to say they're going to be well. They're going to, as behalf of one of the
parents, they are going to be very well. We have a new OC, Coach Lanning's vision, all the position coaches. I think they are going to put the absolute best personnel on the field to get the best outcome. Now, I have faith in this coaching staff. Their decisions are going to be key. They're filling these plugs and these holes that players that have gone to the NFL, et cetera, have left. So we have to make sure we have the right personnel in place to have a successful season. And I have faith in this staff, and I feel like they'll do the right thing. They got it under control. We have a wonderful head coach, like I said, position coaches, the DC, the OC. Oregon is in a great position right now.
Incredible team, incredible staff. So tonight is the National College Football Championship. Who are you taking? You taking TCU or Georgia?
You know what? Georgia beat the dog mess out of us, so I don't even want to cheer for them. But you know what? I want to cheer for the underdog. TCU had that Cinderella season. They would not have thought that they would be here at the beginning of the season after the season they had last year. So, and purple is my favorite color. So, but because Georgia beat us so badly, I want to see TCU win. I absolutely would love for those young men to get that experience, because in that moment, it's going to be wow. And that's all I don't know how else you can describe it, but it's going to be wow to look at where they were to where they are. And it's crazy because on any given Saturday, on any given Sunday, on any given Friday, look at USC. The last couple games of the season, they were vying for a playoff spot. didn't quite go their way. So, you know, anything can happen, but I'm cheering for the Horned Frogs. Let's go TCU.
Okay, well, TCU it is for you. Okay. So Renee, we're gonna close this out, but I just want to say thank you for taking the time out, for giving a little bit of trust in this gal over here from New York.
Thank you for having me, and
Don't
don't worry.
Any closing words or anything you would share on behalf of your experience so far?
Honestly, just trust the process. And I know it's hard. It's easy for me to say, but Johnny's going to be in great hands. He's going to make some great friends. He's going to make some great connections. And there are parents that are going to look out for him and make sure that he's okay. You know, I'm the mom that, hey, when's the last time you talked to your mother? When's the last time you talked to your father? When's the last time you FaceTime with them? You know, just because, and they're like, you know, I'm everybody's auntie. Oh, auntie, I got it. Okay, you know what? You want them to come to your games and support you. I'm going to need you to do something in return. So that he's going to be just fine. And when I tell you the gear, you're going to be Oregon overload. So just enjoy the process. Enjoy it.
Well, thanks again, Renee. You've been incredible. For those who are listening to Phoenix Soul, remember, we're here for the 6:30 show. We'll also do another replay at 10:30. And this has been incredible talking to Renee Mells, momager.
My pleasure. It's anytime.
All right. Thank you, everybody, for joining us. And we'll talk soon. Take care.
Take care. Thank you.
So I guess I'm going to just close this show out. This was really what this was about. Just, I love this idea of doing this remote. We'll be back next week in person, DJ D Spence. And thank you, Al, for an incredible process of making me speak to you all. We'll see you next week. Phoenix Soul, clarity and connection through conversation. Peace out.